Alright, so this is what I think is going on. So, changing skull shape is causing pattern loss. The flow for that is you have high velocity, abstract, and strategic thinking. So a lot of thinking. And that drives up energy into the head. Stimulates a lot of metabolic activity, which causes swelling in the brain tissue, but also a lot of electrical, insubstantial energetic activity. The energy of the thoughts are just pounding off the interior wall, and I think some of them are penetrating the wall as well, causing shock waves through the skull. And what that is doing is it's stimulating the osteoblasts, which are the bone laying cells of the body, to start laying down bone tissue in areas that they think need to be reinforced. So right here is your prefrontal cortex, right at the top of the skull. You notice men with male pattern baldness, there will be a bulge here. Not so much here. This is not where the prefrontal cortex is. This doesn't process. This only processes emotions. This processes abstract thinking. This is where the bulge is, right? And there's a suture that runs through the skull, which is a point of vulnerability. So I think the body smartly is layering down bone layers, layering bone in areas of vulnerability to cope with an internal stress, or stress on the bone caused by an internal force. So then you get this bulging, and that changes the etheric blueprint, which is like how the body uses geometry to figure out where to put things. So for the hair, the body knows not to put hair on your forehead, which is the part of your skull that is vertical. And it knows to put it on the top of your head, by contrast, which is parallel to the ground. And there's a sharp angle that separates the vertical part from the horizontal part, and that's where it puts the hair. That's your hairline. So when the bone laying is going to obscure that sharp border, and the body's going to stop laying hair down at your hairline, because it's no longer a geometric marker that tells it where to put hair. And then you have pattern loss. The other thing that it does, all this strategic thinking, it shoots up chi into the skull area, and it comes out of the Dumai 20 point and down the midline of the head, and because of all the things, there's a lot of heat, a lot of electrical activity in the area, there's interference, and that chi is going to stagnate, it's going to break off and follow some other pattern, meridians through the body because of obstructions. Anyways, just there's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of chi in the scalp, a lot of electrical activity in the scalp. It's going to generate surface heat, and in order to protect the brain tissue from intense surface heat due to increased electrical activity, it's also going to start layering bone. So if you look at an acupuncture map of the scalp meridians, I said there's a major meridian that runs along the midline, and then right at the hairline, there are 2 points that are on the urinary bladder meridian, and they go like that, and then they go this way. A receding hairline pattern is perfectly outlined by these acupuncture points on the urinary bladder meridian. Okay, this far. My hairline is perfectly outlined by the urinary bladder meridians. So what's going on? I also have a ridge, this raised up bone right along those meridians. So I think scalp friction, heat friction, electrical friction in the scalp is causing heat, and the body's layering down bone to protect the brain tissue from all that surfacing. So you got it on both ends. Coming from the in, got to lay down bone tissue, and then heat from the outside, got to lay down more bone tissue. Again, changes the etheric blueprint, which causes pattern loss. So that's what I'm working with. Then I'm trying to figure out, like, all right, what's the energetic imbalance that would stimulate or trigger this effect in the body? What triggers the high velocity abstract thinking? Everyone's capable of doing that, but some people, it's more prominent than others, such as myself. I'm very analytical. I try to figure out problems. I was very good at math in school. I've spent 20 plus years trying to figure out this hair loss problem. Still trying to figure it out. This is the type of person who has like a real drive to figure something out. But there could be other types, very business-like people who are always trying to make a deal, looking for the next sale, trying to figure out a new angle to approach strategic approach to whatever they're doing. That creates a lot of need for energy in the prefrontal cortex. And so the question is, why is this in males? Why is it? What's too much? There's some sort of imbalance that causes excessive high velocity abstract thinking, and that's what I've been trying to figure out. And so this is what I've been working on. I've been using Chinese medicine, the 5-element model, to figure out the imbalance. So at this point, what I think is going on is it starts for some people, I think for me it starts in the liver, because the liver houses what's called the Hun, which is the source of vision, strategy, relentless determination, and unyielding drive to overcome obstacles. That part of you resides in the liver. If that relates to you at all, it comes from your liver energy. The liver feeds directly to the heart. Liver is the mother of heart. So the liver, whatever is going on in the liver, is going to impact the heart directly. And the heart is the most young organ. It's the most male organ. It's the fire element. So that's really going to get stimulated by male activity. So I think the iron spike that we get at puberty, just being a male, those two things are going to feed the liver Hun, right? This unyielding determination is going to get fueled by this fire. Fire burns wood. Liver is the wood element. Heart is the fire element. Right? A strong drive, a strong amount of wood is going to burn harder. And if you're male, it's going to burn even harder. All right. That male energy is just going to take that liver Hun and just burn it hard, like way too hard, and maybe just like unbalanced hard. And then the other thing that I think is a factor is social conditioning and schooling. So we're taught to think. We're taught to do this sort of thinking, high velocity, abstract, strategic thinking. We're not taught the softer faculties like intuition and imagination, right? That stuff is like eradicated from us from an early age. Like we're taught to read way too young, and that just kills our imagination, our soft faculties. And blue light EMF, I think that also will stimulate the nervous system, which is related to the heart fire. Anything that stimulates electrical activity, hyperstimulates you, is going to really flare up the heart fire. All right, and this heart fire, I should get a pen here. The heart fire is kept in check by the kidneys, and this is kind of what we're working here. So, kidneys, the water element, checks the heart fire, and then the spleen earth element moves kidney water, houses kidney water. Spleen is earth. That is the structure. The kidneys are the water element. That's the source of nourishment. So the spleen, the earth, holds the water, the source of nourishment, which balances out the heart fire, the sun, right? So if you think of how life grows, right? You need the earth to hold the water. The water is where we're going to get our nourishment from. A lot of our nourishment, like for growing stuff. The sun is also a source of nourishment. Everything on the earth needs the sun to grow. But if the sun burns too hot, and there's not enough water, then life withers. And I think that's part of what's going on. And then if there's a leak in the dam holding the reservoir, then you're just going to be leaking out this nourishment for no reason, even though the sun's not burning hot. But anyway, the kidneys, that's the nourishment. That's what balances out the fire element. Fire and water. Kidneys, water, heart, fire. The kidneys are run down by poor sleep, which is like common nowadays with all with indoor lighting. So another thing that stimulates the heart fire, we have indoor lighting, so we're staying up way too late compared to our ancestors, and so we're not getting as good of a sleep. We're not getting as good of a rest. Kidneys are nourished by rest. You have to rest to build back your reserves. Vaccines, pharmaceuticals, anything that's toxic will run down the kidneys, will deplete your vitality. So I took a lot of hair loss drugs. That's a double-edged sword. It might help for a little bit, but ultimately it's going to run down your water element, run down your vitality. Over time, it's going to lose its effectiveness, if it has some at all. Mine was effective for when I took pharmaceuticals for hair, it was effective for a month or two, and then started getting worse. And also lack of proper nutrition in that, we don't eat that many the essence building foods that our ancestors ate. Poor understanding of nutrition. So kidneys, like black foods, you also like kidneys. Like if you eat beef kidney, that's really good for your kidneys. Or if you eat the marrow in the bone, not a lot of people eat that. It's really good for your kidneys. I didn't eat that growing up. I didn't eat organ meats, and I didn't eat bone marrow growing up. And those are like the two big rejuvenating tonics for the kidneys. And like foods, black, and there are other foods too that I probably ate some of, but not enough. But anyway, the kidneys can also be worn down by the spleen. Like I said, the spleen is the earth element that holds the reservoir of nourishment, the earth element. So like that's your digestive process, spleen, stomach. So if the spleen, stomach is run down, then it's not going. The spleen sends chi, life force. So it takes the chi from our food and then sends it to the kidneys. Some of it most of it goes to making blood, but some of it gets sent to the kidneys to store as our reserves, our vital reserves. So digestion is very important. Like that's how we replenish our vital reserves, which we're burning up all throughout the day. And so that's why we need food in order to sustain ourselves. All right, so things that affect this severely impact the spleen are when you're born. Are you formula fed? It's going to affect your gut. I was also being a cesarean section. That was me. I got both of those. Hit both of those. Right. It's going to really severely weaken your gut and your ability to extract nutrients and chi, life force, from the food. Poor understanding of nutrition. Food pairings. Really, like improper food pairings really impair spleen function. As well as eating cold foods or damp forming foods. So like smoothies, frozen smoothies, really bad for your digestion. Like superfood, like health food, has been so my entire lifetime. I'm 41. That's really bad. Like, smoothies are like probably the worst thing. You can, like, you don't chew it, you're not mixing with saliva, you're not warming up, you're just sending like frozen liquid into your stomach, which just like kills your digestive fire. Anyway, other things, irregular meals. So snacking and intermittent fasting. I've done both of those. I used to eat like 6 meals a day, and then I went to 2 meals a day. And then I was doing long fasting. All bad. 3 meals, no more. And have to be at the right times. And I did videos on that if you want to check those out for lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then general instability and worry. We're conditioned to worry a lot in modern living, and that will really deplete the spleen. And just the lifestyle. You have to work 40 hours plus a week, and you have a family, and there's just like a lot of things to worry about. And so you're always thinking, worrying, and that's really going to impair digestion. So I think a part of this is like the liver hun, right? That's your determination, feeds the fire, and that burns too hot. That could lead to instability in and of itself. Is when your central nervous system is overactive, you become unstable, and then that instability will affect your digestion. That's why I think a lot of people get heartburn, right? It's because overworkers, right? They're burning too hot, and impairs the digestion. So this triangle here is kind of the imbalance that I'm working with. Like, I can't really do anything about my determination, but I can do something about my fire. How hard is that burning? I can do something about my earth element, and I can do something about my water element. Right? So what I'm trying to do is calm the fire, which is called calming the Shen in Chinese medicine. So subdue that heart fire. Don't let it burn too hot, so it's withering away all that's growing, all the life. Strengthen digestion. Like, learn about Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, the food pairings, what to eat, when to eat, establish regular meal habits, and do what you like. Really work on improving your digestive strength. And then water element, kidney. So that's the rest. That's the qigong to some degree. It's establishing rhythm, stillness, taking time to be still throughout the day. Like, even if we're not sleeping, just meditate or lay down. That's really replenishing to the kidneys. So tonify kidney, what's called kidney yin and essence. So heart is the yang, but there is a yin yang for every element, for every organ. So, but like heart is the most yang. So we gotta calm the yang, tonify the yin. So build our yin, build the reserves, build the vital energy, and then strengthen digestion. And in that way, we can stop this imbalance, the imbalance between the fire and the water, right? Because fire is thinking. Fire is male, fire is thinking, right? When we're thinking all the time, that's burning up fire element. That's like fire element burning hard, right? High velocity, abstract, strategic thinking. That's totally the heart, right? We need to calm that down. And I've been doing it for years. And it's very difficult for me to calm down. I get into thinking, I think, and I strategize and figure stuff out. I can't do that, or I have to be able to balance it. And so calming the shen is essential to this. Liver is going to feed that heart, and we can't let it burn too hard. Got to calm the shen, strengthen digestion, build that earth element, build that stability. We want to work on our stability. 3 meals a day, same time every day. Build a routine. And then the kidneys, that's the rhythm, that's the stillness, that's the rest. And the other thing you can do, like why Qigong and meditation and yoga are really effective or could be effective in this respect, is because there's another, what's called a ki cycle here, where, so the lung, let's see, heart checks metal, water checks fire. Actually, I don't need that other arrow here, but you see lungs, which is breathing, kidneys, which is rhythm, stillness, calms the heart. That's what keeps the heart in check. Rhythmic breathing calms the shen. So that's the movement aspect of what we can do. Still, calm, rhythmic movements. Very slow. Slowness helps the spleen too. Earth is slow. Things happen slowly on the earth. So slow rhythmic breathing is going to have a calming effect on the shen. All right, so calm the shen, strengthen digestion, and tonify yin. And then that'll keep the liver, because when this liver has this really unyielding drive to overcome obstacles. If there's not enough vital energy here, then you're going to feel it in the liver. And that's what I feel it in the liver. I have face acne, that's heat flaring up. You're going to get heat symptoms. And you're going to get irritability and just headaches, things associated with rising energy in the body. Because the liver's wood. Wood wants to grow, but it needs water. If it doesn't have water, it's going to dry out. And it's going to get dry and irritated. And it's going to manifest as all sorts of skin issues and mood issues, and it's probably going to exacerbate male pattern baldness because it's going to drive more energy up into the brain and the scalp, and you're going to have more internal pressure and external heat, more bone layering. It's just going to compound the issue. So this is what I'm working with. I'm just figuring out how do I do those things. Calm the shen, strengthen my digestion, and tonify my yin. So I'm doing it with food, my meals. I'm doing it with herbs. I'm doing it with my movement. And it's a whole lifestyle shift. I can even, I guess oils are part of herbs too. And then there's some other things that I'm doing to like clear up scalp meridians of the scalp heat, some like kind of like fancier things, which I'll describe in other videos to come. That's good for now because this is long enough. It's like a 20-minute video, but it takes time to explain. So yeah, more to come soon.